Welcome to The Next Level, where we speak with Durham entrepreneurs. The Next Level explores what's next in business, public affairs, technology, education, and big ideas, and speaks to leading minds from Durham region, Canada, and around the world on what it takes to be the next big thing. Today, we're speaking with Derek Giberson from the Backdoor Mission in Oshawa, who expanded tenfold during COVID to offer more social services to those in need. We're going to introduce him to Alan Frew, nationally celebrated musical artist, business person, and philanthropist from Canada's 80s supergroup, Glass Tiger.
My name is Derek Giberson, and I'm the board president of the Backdoor Mission. The Backdoor Mission is located in downtown Oshawa, in the back of Simcoe Street United Church. The mission provides a really important service in providing a place for those who are marginalized by urban poverty and social dislocation, and has been doing that since the late 1990s as a social hub, but lately it has been so much more than a social hub. The Backdoor Mission offers a whole range of services, from being that social connection place as it started, now to a coordinated set of services like primary health care, mental health supports, safe daytime rest area, addictions supports. I think the main purpose of the mission really is to have a place and an opportunity for people who maybe have been forgotten, maybe have been left behind, to be included and to be found again and to be reconnected. We offer assistance to anyone who comes to the mission, but many of the people who come to us, they are either under-sheltered, they are homeless, and generally people who are low to no income, marginally housed, and marginally, I guess you could just say marginally included in society. When the pandemic hit, we had a short moment when we were struggling to figure out what was the best type of services we could offer. So in response to the pandemic, we brought 8 other service providers together under one roof and put something together that maybe had been needed long before the pandemic. The reason why it works is because with many of these individuals, the conventional model where you say, okay, well, you need this service, then you got to go and jump on this bus, go 20 minutes that way, and then walk 20 minutes that way. And that's where you lose people, especially individuals who are struggling with their mental health, who are maybe struggling with addiction. Instead of losing them, you get them in the point when they're ready. It's really about that when they're ready sort of a service. They're ready now, and we're ready for them as well too.
I hope you had a nice long weekend.
Derek, thanks so much for making the time for this today. And I'm curious, what was your inspiration for doing this? Was it a personal calling?
I guess it was a bunch of things. Certainly need, I think, was the biggest one. You look around in an urban area where there are individuals who are marginalized, who are forgotten. I think that's one of the big ones, who are forgotten. We saw folks who were in crisis, and we responded.
You know, we were coming through a pretty difficult time, as a planet. Tell me more about why you think it's important that we pay attention to these forgotten people, as you say.
It's also forgotten potential. They have something to give as well. But I also think it speaks to, I hope, our basic sense of humanity, that people matter. They've lost the supports that many of us take for granted in life, whether it's family, friends, community. Every individual is different, and there's no one outcome that any of our people here are seeking. It's going to be different for every individual. Every person's potential, every person's path is different. All the work that happens here is from a philosophy of, we see you, we're here to support you.
Take me back a little bit. Was there a particular moment when you decided, okay, I need to do something about this?
The mission prior to all of this was what I always called a fairly low-tech operation. It was really just a community hub. It was a place where people could come in a couple days a week. There'd be coffee, snacks. Volunteers would be here to help out. And for a couple of hours, you could get out of the weather, if it was a crummy day outside. Mid-March, things started to shut down. There was just a lot of uncertainty at that time. And as those services drew back, we started to look around us and see a population in crisis. So there was one moment in particular where I had a conversation with our mayor and then set up a call with some individuals who were involved in providing services in our downtown. And we started to talk, and we just started to move the pieces forward and make the calls, pull other people in. get people together who were like-minded, who wanted to come together in a spirit of cooperation. It wasn't about protecting your territory or your silo.
So apart from the philanthropic and humanitarian aspect of what you're doing, is there also a case to be made for why doing what you're doing is good business?
One really great, in terms of the economic case, one of the great examples is in dealing with people who are in the midst of crisis. So whether it's overdose, whether it's mental health, very severe, very acute mental health crisis. In an environment like this, we can respond to them where they're at, and it's also a trusted space too. The alternative model is in meeting people in crisis when they're out in the community. What quite often happens, they pick up the phone, they call 911. The cost is tremendous to do it that way. If you can work in their community, in their context, and respond in the moment to their needs and help walk that path with them, not only is the cost a lot lower, but the opportunity for successful outcomes in the long term is just way better.
And do you think a model like this could work in other cities around the world that have the same challenges that we're facing here? I'm sure we're not the only ones.
I think that this is probably the best practice in addressing urban poverty, where you do the coordinated services in one place. Certainly for this region, it was a first, and it's something that, having seen it in action, I would say anyone who is struggling with growing challenges of urban poverty, mental health, addictions, work with the different skill sets that are available in your community. Work together, because you're going to find out that it's going to make such a difference for people.
So how do you know that you're actually making a difference or having impact?
In the last half year, we've been able to actually grab some of the numbers, and one of the most important ones, I think, is in looking at the housing data. So taking the numbers of those who have been identified as homeless, and we work in conjunction with the region of Durham and the other sector partners, and they now track that through a system called the by name list. We've discovered that in the last 8 months alone, through this coordinated access approach, as a sector as a whole in Durham region, we've housed more people in the last 8 months who have been homeless, chronically homeless, than in the previous 2 to 3 years combined. Almost half of them are put on the by name list here at Mission United.
Are you hopeful for the future?
I am. I think we see that hope every day here. I had a gentleman come up to me the other day, just wanted to say thanks to everyone that's here and all the services that he's accessed. Me and my wife are now housed after being homeless. So I'm really hopeful, because we're seeing it on a regular basis.
I've set up a call with you and Alan Frew from Glass Tiger, a nationally regarded philanthropist, musician like yourself, and someone who is as community-minded as you are, at the Global Classroom at Durham College. So if you're ready, let's go.
Great, yeah. Speaking with Alan Frew will be cool, because my vocational background is in the music industry, and he's used his voice and his platform to leverage a lot of really valuable attention on things like mental health.
Alan Frew, I want to introduce you to Derek Giberson. He's a fellow musician, city councillor, and he's the president of the Backdoor Mission here in Oshawa.
Pleasure to meet you, Derek. How are you?
I'm well, and likewise. Pleasure to meet you, Alan.
Derek's been doing some phenomenal work here in Oshawa, and one of the things that you guys have in common, of course, is your background and your love of music.
What's your background, Derek, in music?
I spent many years as a jobbing keyboard player, singer, working with different bands and artists, various Canadian artists, Julian Taylor, Sass Jordan.
Alan, do you think there's a connection between your background in music and your philanthropic kind of view of the world?
One of the things I found very interesting was that when we went to other countries where the communication was next to nothing because we couldn't speak their language, they couldn't speak ours, what unified us was the music. Some people couldn't say hello to you and ask you how you're doing, blah, 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 but they could sing the lyrics to your songs. And so you get this sort of feeling that we are all in this together. You walk down the street and you see homelessness in Toronto, but all of a sudden now you're in Munich, or you're in Barcelona, or you're in Afghanistan, uh, it's all the same. I think that music gave me the opportunity to discover that. And then when it enters your heart that, everybody deserves, fresh drinking water, everybody deserves a roof over their head, everybody deserves some decent food on a plate. And when you find out that so many people can't have that, then I think what Derek's doing is a prime example of those with the heartfelt need to help, to give back. Even the people themselves who are homeless or hungry or in need, music's still incredibly important to them also.
A number of times I'll walk outside the mission and someone will have music playing on their phone, or they've brought a radio with them, and it gives that space outside a bit of a feeling of community, and you can see how it brings them together for sure.
Wonderful. And you perform yourself, right?
I do. I'm on hiatus right now, of course, but that's my background now. I just do it a little bit on the side for the time being.
Where do we go from here? Is it something that could almost be like, for want of a better term, like franchised? Would you ever be interested in, doing it somewhere else and passing it on, and to eventually we've got dozens of them all over the place, or what?
A lot of what we've done was looking at what other places had done and sort of expanding on it, or making it fit our community with all the coordinated services, because there's medical services, there's mental health and addiction supports, there are housing supports to try and get people housed, most importantly. We've been an open book to others who have come to us, or when they've wanted to take that model and do it somewhere else in the region. And then they kind of calibrate it and customize it for their community. Every community is different. But we hope to be able to share our experience really with anywhere.
What kind of advice do you have, or what can you do to help take this idea to the next level?
Well, I mean, one thing I would love to offer is to maybe lend a hand. If I up the ante a little bit by bringing a little bit more awareness to it, it would be my honor and pleasure, Derek. I just love the idea. I think it's a wonderful idea. I would love to offer my services one day, if that works for you, if you'd like that. I pop out and do a few songs.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alan, the thing about the folks that we work with is they are so used to being forgotten and unseen, and it makes such a difference when you can flip that around and they feel seen and they feel included and not forgotten. It's such a big thing to them.
Absolutely.
You can see it in their eyes, right?
There's no price on kindness. Just a little bit of kindness. Love and kindness is the only thing we have around us to help, pull us out of some of this misery that we witness day in and day out, that we're bombarded with. The idea of us bonding together in a little bit of caring and kindness is it's the only thing that will save the day, for sure.
Beautifully said, Alan, and I think we have a resounding yes and thank you on our end for your amazing offer.
Derek can get in touch with me, and I'd be happy to pop out and lend a song or two to the cause.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, Alan. Derek, is there anything you wanted to ask or say as we wrap up?
Yeah, just thank you. It's been great to be able to connect and just reflect on the ways that we give back, and the ways that music also helps to connect us. So thank you.
I'm a true believer in the power of intention, and what you send out there, you get back tenfold. And so thank you for what you're doing, and it'll be an honor and a pleasure to maybe stand beside you one day and take part in it.
We will see you soon, Alan Frew. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, Derek, we've just met with Alan Frew, and I wanted to get your thoughts on, first of all, how you think that went and what's going through your mind right now.
It was really cool. Just the warmth and the size of his heart comes through, which is awesome.
I want to thank you for being part of the next level.
Paul, thanks so much.